This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the Precious Metals Summit 2016 in Beaver Creek, Colorado. With me right now is Tony Rovira from Azure Minerals. It's a publicly traded company with the symbol AZS on the ASX. Tony, welcome to SNNLive.
Thanks, Robert. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you on our program. So for our audience, let's start off with an overview, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. Azure Minerals is an Australian company, as you said, listed on the ASX. We've been around for 13 years now, and I've been the CEO of the company for all of that time. In the last 10 years, we've focused very much on Mexico, and we have an office down there, and we have a geological team that is doing some great work, and we're having some really good discoveries in the last 2 years, and the company is going ahead in leaps and bounds at the moment.
Okay, so Mexico. Where in Mexico? Is there any historical mining on the properties, or were these new discoveries at the time?
Well, both that. They're both new discoveries, but they're also in areas where there's a lot of mining going on. For example, our flagship project is the Alacrán project. It's located only 10 kilometres from the Cananea copper mine. And the Cananea copper mine, which is operated by Grupo Mexico, is North America's second largest copper mine. It's a huge mining development. We're located very close to that, yet in an area where there's been very limited exploration. And we've had this project now for 2 years, and in that 2 years we've made two major discoveries, a silver discovery and a gold discovery.
And what led you to Mexico? Did you have experience there on previous projects, or how did you end up at this project?
No, we didn't have any previous experience in Mexico, but we knew about it as a destination that was highly favourable for mining, both in terms of its mineral prospectivity and also the fact that the country has such a great mining history that the people and the government are very supportive of mining and pro-mining. And that made it a very attractive destination. So we went there and had a look, and we were blown away with the opportunities. And even to this day, we are still seeing great opportunities coming across our desk. And it's one of the great countries in the world to do mining business in.
So let's talk about your team that you put together. Does the team have any experience, exploring in Mexico as well?
Yes, they do. We have a great team down there. It's led by Brent Hendrickson, who is our exploration manager in Mexico. He's based in Hermosillo, which is in the capital city of the northern state of Sonora. And he has built a fantastic team, mostly Mexican geologists, and there's about 8 of them on the ground at the moment working, and they're all very experienced, and they've also got some great discovery history amongst themselves as well. So they're a really good team, and they're being very successful.
So from what I understand, there's 2 projects. You have a gold project and a silver project. Am I correct?
That's correct. And yet both of these projects, they're both deposits, and they're located on the same project. They're on the Alacrán project. They're located, in fact, only 200 or 300 metres apart. They're both brand new discoveries in areas, and yet where there's been a lot of mining activity going on and exploration activity. And yet these 2 deposits stick out of the ground. In fact, they form the tops of 2 hills. And there's a road that runs right past there that's been there for over 100 years. But it seems that no one ever got out of their car and walked to the top of the hill and cracked some rocks and found it, and yet our guys did that, and one of these hills is very, very rich in silver, and the other hill is very rich in gold.
So let's talk about some of the results, because there has been some drilling already done on the projects. So was it near surface, or tell me a little bit more.
Well, interestingly, when we first went into the area, there was some old mine workings, some copper workings, about 2 or 3 kilometres to the south of where the silver is. And yet we started at the northern end of the property in a very systematic fashion. And on day one, the very first samples our guys took when they walked over the top of this hill were enriched in silver. And so straight away we knew we had something really good. And basically the exploration that they carried out was traditional geological mapping, surface sampling, and that led into drilling. And we've drilled now approximately 100 holes onto the silver deposit. We have a resource, an indicated resource of 26 million ounces of silver at surface, and within that there's a high-grade zone that forms the actual capping on the hill, which is 15 million ounces of silver at 220 grams per tonne. Incredibly rich, sticking out of the ground, and forms the top of the hill. When it comes to be a mine, and it will be a mine, it's not even an open pit. It's literally just taking the top off the hill and processing it to recover the silver.
So, we talked about your team that's down there. What's your background? You say you've been a part of the company for its entire existence. What were you doing before that led to this experience?
Yeah, I've been a geologist, or I am a geologist, and I still like to think of myself as a geologist, even though I'm the CEO of the company. And I've been working in the exploration and mining business for 35 years now. we formed this company 13 years ago. Prior to that, I was the General Manager of Exploration for a company in Australia called Jubilee Mines. And we were a penny dreadful company back then, and we made a magnificent nickel discovery, which became the highest grade open pit nickel mine in the world. And we took that company from a very small company to one of the largest nickel mining companies in Australia, until we were taken out by Xstrata in 2007. And so I've got a really interesting and a very pleasing history of successful exploration, and we see things now which just excite us, and as exploration geologists we just want to get out there and keep finding and discovering ore bodies.
Hey, once a geologist, always a geologist.
Yes, I think that's the case.
So we're heading into the end of 2016, going into 2017. From what you can tell me, what are some of the goals and milestones for the company? Okay.
The Mesa de Plata silver deposit, which I mentioned earlier, is currently under feasibility study, and we anticipate that we'll have that feasibility study completed within the first quarter of next year, in first quarter of 2017, and with the intent of being able to take this project through development into production as quickly as we can. But in addition to that, more recently, in the last 6 months, we've discovered a gold deposit sitting right next door to it, and we're currently drilling that out, and we intend to have a resource calculated and published before the end of this year. And in which case we're going to have one hill of silver and one hill of gold, and hopefully we can take them both through into production.
And where can our audience go and find more information about the company?
Well, we've got a website. It's www.azureminerals.com.au, and it's a brand new website too. In fact, it's only brand new this week, so there's a whole new look to it, and there's a lot of information on there on the company and on the projects as well. So I recommend that to everyone.
And that's azureminerals.com.au. My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the Precious Metals Summit 2016 in Beaver Creek, Colorado. With me again has been Tony Rovira from Azure Minerals. It's a publicly traded company with the symbol AZS on the Australian Stock Exchange. Tony, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Very great pleasure.